and gentlemen, at this time, please turn off all cell phones and pagers. Thank you.
True. Yes, true. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I have been and am. But why would you say that I am mad? No, the disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. Oh, I heard all things in the heavens and in the earth, and I heard many things in hell. So, how then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. Now, it is impossible to say how at first the idea entered the brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object, there was none. Passion, there was none. Now, I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult, and for his gold, I had no desire. No, I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. Oh, he had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a hideous film that whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, very, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point that you fancy me mad. Well, madmen, they know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. Oh, I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, just at midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh, so gently. And when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed, so that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. Now, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. Oh, I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. And it took me an hour to place my head within the room so far that I might see him as he lay upon his bed. Now, would a madman have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well within the room, I undid the lantern cautiously, so cautiously, for the hinges creaked. And I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible for me to do the work, for you see, it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning when the day broke, I walked boldly into his chamber, and I spoke courageously to him, calling him by name, and in a hearty tone inquiring how he has passed the night. So, you see, he would have been a very profound old man indeed to suspect that every night, just at midnight, I looked in upon him while he slept. Now upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. Oh, I watched his minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. And never before that night had I felt the extent of my powers, of my sagacity. Oh, I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph to think that there I was, opening his door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea. And perhaps he heard me, for he moved upon the bed suddenly, as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no, the room was as black as pitch with the thick darkness, for these shutters were closed, fastened through fear of robbers. And so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, so I kept pushing it on steadily. And I had my head in and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up in the bed and cried out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still, and I said nothing. For a whole hour, I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime, I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed, listening, just as I had done night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. Oh, and presently, I heard a slight groan, and I knew that it was the groan of mortal terror. Oh, it was not the groan of pain or of grief. Oh, no. It was the low, a stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. See, I knew that sound quite well. Many a night, just about midnight, when all the world has slept, it is welled up in my own bosom, and deepening with its dreadful echoes the terrors that distracted me. Yes, I knew it well. See, I knew what the old man felt, and I pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since hearing that first slight noise when he had turned in his bed, and his fears had been ever since growing upon him. Oh, he had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself, it is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor, or it is merely a cricket that has made a single chirp. Yes. He had been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found them all in vain. All in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with its black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of that unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, but to feel the presence of my head within his room. And when I had waited a long time, very, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length a single dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot out from the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye. And it was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with a perfect distinctness, all a dull, pale blue with a hideous veil that chilled the very marrow of my bone. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness, it is but an over-acuteness of the senses? And now, there came into my ear a low, a dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. And I knew that sound well too. It was the beating of the old man's heart, and it increased my fury, like the beating of a drum stimulates a soldier into courage, but even yet I refrained, and I kept still, but the beating grew louder and louder, and I held the lantern motionless. Oh, I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye, and in the meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. Oh, it grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder and louder and louder. And do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous. So I am. And now, at the dead hour of the night, amidst the dreadful silence of that old house, such a strange noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. Yet for some minutes longer, I refrained, and I kept still. But the beating grew louder and louder. Oh, I thought that the heart must burst. And now a new anxiety seized me. Well, the sound would be heard by a neighbor. Oh, the old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into his room. And he shrieked once, only once. And in an instant, I pulled him to the floor, and I dragged the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily, to find the deed so far done. And for many minutes, the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the walls. And at length, it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed, and I examined the corpse. And yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon his heart, and I held it there for many minutes. There was no pulsation. No, he was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no longer. Now, if you still think me mad, or you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. Well, the night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. Well, first of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head, and the arms, and then the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of his chamber and deposited it all between the scantlings. And I then replaced the boards so carefully, so cunningly that no human eye, not even his, could detect anything wrong. And there was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too wary for that. And when I made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. And as the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? And there entered 3 gentlemen who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own. In a dream, the old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house and I made them search well. At length I led them into the old man's chambers and I showed them his treasures, secure and undisturbed. While in the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to sit and rest from your present fatigues, while I, myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. And the officers were satisfied. Oh, my manner had convinced them I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they spoke of familiar things, but ere long I felt myself growing pale, and I wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears, but I still sat and still chatted, and the ringing became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued, and it gained definitiveness, until at length I found that the noise, it was not within my ears. No doubt now I grew very pale, but I talked more fluently and with a heightened voice, and yet the noise increased. And what could I do? It was a low, a dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. So I talked more quickly, more vehemently, yet the sound steadily increased. I arose and I argued about trifles in a high key and with violent gesticulations, and yet the sound, it steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro in heavy strides, as if excited to fury by the observations of the men, and yet the noise, it steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed. Oh, I raved. I swore. I sprung a chair upon which I had been sitting and grated it across the boards. Yet the noise arose over all and continually increased. It grew louder and louder and louder, and still the men, they chatted pleasantly and smiled. Oh, was it possible that they heard it not? Almighty God, no, they heard, and they suspected. They knew they were making a mockery of my horror. Oh, this I thought, and this I think, but anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. Oh, I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die, and now, louder, villains! Dissemble no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks here. It is the beating of his hideous heart.
Some of you got the memo, decided not to sit in the front row. Thanks for coming. That was The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. One of the 3 great Poe stories we have here at the Trio of Terror. That's it for The Telltale Heart tonight, or today. But we still have 2 more Poe shows, about 10 minutes. We have The Black Cat, and after that is The Raven. So feel free, stay in your seats. You don't have to get up. You can stay right here, wait about 10 minutes. The Black Cat comes on. Thanks a lot, guys.